You weren't here before 1990 or 2005 or whenever you showed up. Where were you? Nowhere. You didn't exist. And that didn't bother you at all, did it? You weren't sitting in some void, waiting, anxious, checking your watch. There was no you to experience the absence. For billions of years, the universe ran without you. Stars exploded. Galaxies collided. Dinosaurs ruled and vanished. Your ancestors fought and loved and died. And you were nowhere. Not sleeping, not waiting, just not. Most people never think about this. We obsess over what happens after we die, but we completely ignore what it was like before we were born. And here's the thing. They're the same state. Identical. You've already experienced being dead. You just don't remember it because there was no you to remember anything. The philosopher Epicurus noticed this 2,300 years ago. He wasn't being morbid. He was trying to free people from fear. He said, "Why do you fear death? You were dead for billions of years before you were born, and it caused you no inconvenience whatsoever." Think about that. The year 1823. You weren't there. Did it hurt? The Cretaceous period, 70 million years ago. Massive creatures walking the earth. And you? Absent. Not in pain, not bored, not anything. But here's where it gets strange. Right now, you exist. You're reading this. Your neurons are firing. Your heart is pumping. You are a temporary arrangement of atoms that became conscious for a brief flash in cosmic time. The universe is experiencing itself through you. Before you were born, those atoms were scattered. Some were in the soil, some were in the ocean, some were inside other living things. After you die, they'll scatter again. The calcium in your bones will return to the earth. The iron in your blood might end up in a blade of grass. The carbon in your cells could become part of a tree, a bird, another human. You are not separate from the universe. You are what the universe is doing right here, right now. In 1969, astronauts brought back moon rocks. Scientists studied them and found something unexpected. The atoms in those rocks, the oxygen, the silicon, they were forged inside stars that exploded billions of years ago. The same stars that made the atoms in your body. You and the moon are made of the same stuff. You and the mountain, you and the ocean. Carl Sagan said it best, we are made of star stuff. But he didn't just mean poetically, he meant literally. Every atom in your body, except hydrogen, was created in the nuclear furnace of a star, or in the violent explosion when that star died. So before you were born, you were dispersed. You were part of everything and nothing. You were potential, not actual. And after you die, you'll return to that state. Not gone, just redistributed. Now, this might sound depressing. It's not. Here's what nobody tells you. The fact that you exist at all is absurd. The odds against your birth are so staggering that if you really understood them, you'd never take a single day for granted. Let's walk through it. Your parents had to meet, but not just meet. They had to meet at exactly the right time, in exactly the right circumstances, with exactly the right feelings. If your father had walked into that room 5 minutes later, you wouldn't exist. Someone else might, but not you. If your mother had taken a different job, moved to a different city, dated someone else for just one more month, you wouldn't be here. But it goes deeper. Your father produced roughly 525 billion sperm cells in his lifetime. Your mother released about 400 eggs. You are the result of one specific sperm meeting one specific egg. Change either one, and you get a different person, your sibling, not you. The genetic lottery that created you had odds of about 1 inch 400 trillion just for you to be considered. But wait, your parents also had to be born, same odds. And their parents, and their parents. Go back 10 generations, that's about 1,024 ancestors. All of them had to survive long enough to reproduce. In a world with plagues, famines, wars, predators, one of your ancestors 800 years ago had to survive the Black Death. Another had to escape a Viking raid. Another had to outrun a lion on the African savanna. One unlucky encounter, one random infection, One moment of bad timing, and your entire lineage ends. You vanish. A scientist named Ali Benazir tried to calculate the odds of your existence. He went back further, all the way to the beginning of life. He factored in the probability of your ancestors meeting, mating, surviving. The number he arrived at, 1 inch, 10 to the power of 2,685,000. That's a 10, followed by 2.7 million zeros. There's no word for a number that large. It's bigger than the number of atoms in the known universe by a lot. You are the result of an unbroken chain of survival stretching back 4 billion years. Every single one of your ancestors, from single-celled organisms to mammals to primates to humans, survived long enough to pass on their genes. Not one of them died before reproducing. Not one. Out of billions of species that ever existed, 99% are extinct. But your lineage, unbroken. And now, here you are, conscious, aware, able to ask questions about your own existence. But it gets stranger. The atoms in your body are not permanent. You replace most of them every 7 to 10 years. The cells in your stomach lining, replaced every few days. Your skin, new every month. Your liver, completely rebuilt every 300 to 500 days. Even your bones, which seem solid and permanent, are constantly dissolving and reforming. The skeleton you had 10 years ago is mostly gone. The atoms that made it are now part of soil, water, air. So what are you exactly? You're not the atoms. They come and go. You're the pattern, the specific arrangement, the information, like a wave in the ocean. The wave is real, but it's not made of permanent water molecules. Water flows through it. The wave is a temporary shape, a form that matter takes for a moment before moving on. You are a wave in the universe, and just like a wave, you rise, you peak, and you dissolve back into the ocean. Okay, but here's the part that most people get wrong. They think this makes life meaningless. If we're just temporary pattern, if we return to the same state we were in before birth, then what's the point? Why does anything matter? This is backwards. Meaning doesn't come from permanence. It comes from rarity. A diamond is valuable because it's rare. A sunset is beautiful because it doesn't last. If you lived forever, if every moment stretched into eternity, nothing would matter because there'd always be more time. You could postpone everything, delay every experience, put off every conversation. Why hurry? You have infinite time. But you don't. You have maybe 80 years, if you're lucky. That's about 4,000 weeks. Sounds like a lot until you realize you've already used up a bunch of them. And here's the thing, you don't get them back. The week you just lived, gone. The day you spent scrolling, distracted, half present, you can't retrieve it. Time moves in one direction, always forward, never back. The ancient Romans had a phrase for this, memento mori. Remember that you will die. Not to be depressing, but to wake you up. To remind you that your time here is limited, and that limitation is what makes it precious. In 1977, NASA launched 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They carried golden records, time capsules meant for any intelligent life that might find them billions of years from now. On those records, scientists included sounds from Earth, waves crashing, wind blowing, a human heartbeat, music from different cultures, and greetings in 55 languages. One of those greetings was from a child, a small voice saying, "Hello from the children of planet Earth." That child is now in their 50s. The moment they spoke into that microphone is gone. But the recording? It's currently 15 billion miles away, moving through interstellar space at 38,000 miles per hour. Long after that child dies, long after everyone alive today is gone, that voice will still be traveling, a permanent echo of a temporary life. This is what humans do, traces. Not because we'll be around to see them, but because we were here. We mattered, even briefly. You've already done this, by the way. Every conversation you've had changed someone's brain chemistry, literally. When you talk to someone, their neurons form new connections. When you smile at a stranger, you alter their emotional state, which influences their next decision, which ripples outward in ways you'll never see. You think you're insignificant? You've already altered the trajectory of countless lives without knowing it. But let's go bigger. In 1968, Apollo 8 became the first manned spacecraft to orbit the moon. The astronauts, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and William Anders, were the first humans to see the far side of the moon with their own eyes. But that's not what changed them. On December 24th, as they swung around the moon for the fourth time, the Earth rose above the lunar horizon. For the first time in human history, people saw the Earth as a small, fragile sphere floating in the blackness of space. No borders, no division, just one world. William Anders grabbed a camera and took a photograph. It's called Earthrise. When you look at it, you see a blue and white marble against infinite darkness. Every human who ever lived, every war, every love story, every discovery, every tragedy, all of it happening on that tiny dot. Anders said later, "We came all this way to explore the moon, and the most important thing is that we discovered the Earth." That photo changed how humans see themselves. Environmental movements grew. People started talking about the planet as a single, interconnected system. The idea that we're all in this together, it became real. Not abstract. Now think about this. You are part of that system. You are a temporary node in a network that spans billions of... Before you were born, energy and matter flowed through the universe in particular patterns. Some of those patterns became stars. Some became planets. Some became living cells. And eventually, some of those patterns became you. You are not separate from this process. You are the process. The universe doesn't contain you. You are what the universe is doing right now, in this specific location, at this specific time. When you die, the process continues. The energy that animates you doesn't disappear. It can't. The first law of thermodynamics: energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. The heat from your body will radiate into the environment. The chemical energy stored in your cells will break down and be used by bacteria, plants, other organisms. The atoms will scatter, but they'll remain. In a very real sense, you will become the Earth again, and then maybe the Earth will become something, another living, another conscious being. Billions of years from now, maybe one of your atoms will be part of a creature on another planet looking up at their sky, wondering what it all means. You are not a thing. You are an event, a temporary fluctuation in the universe's energy field. And that's not sad. That's the only way anything gets to exist at all. Here's the shift. Most people think death is the opposite of life. It's not. Birth is the opposite of death. Life is the opposite of non-existence. And you've already defeated non-existence once. You were born. Against impossible odds, you crossed over from the void into being. You won the cosmic lottery. And for a brief, miraculous flash, you get to experience what it's like to be alive, to feel sunlight, to taste food, to love someone, to learn something new, to stand under a sky full of stars and realize that you're made of the same material. So what do you do with it? You could spiral into existential dread. A lot of people do. If nothing lasts, if we all return to dust, why bother? But that's missing the point entirely. You bother because you're here right now, this moment. You didn't choose to be born, but here you are, conscious, capable of joy, pain, curiosity, wonder. You have a narrow window. Use it, not in some grand, heroic way. You don't have to cure cancer or climb Everest. Just be present. Pay attention. Notice the things most people miss. The way light moves through water. The exact tone of someone's laugh. The smell of rain on hot pavement. These moments are rare, not because they don't happen often, but because you won't be here to experience them forever. When Carl Sagan was dying of cancer, he wrote about the preciousness of life. He didn't rage against death. He didn't beg for more time. He just marveled at the fact that he'd been here at all. He said, "For small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love." He understood something crucial. The universe is indifferent. It doesn't care about you. Stars explode, galaxies collide, black holes devour entire solar system, and none of it has any feelings about it. But you do. You, this improbable pattern of atoms, you care, you love. You create meaning in a universe that has none, and that's your power. Before you were born, the universe didn't know what it was like to be you. It had never experienced the world through your specific perspective. with your memories, your thoughts, your emotions. And after you die, it never will again. You are absolutely unique. Not because you're special in some cosmic sense, but because you are an unrepeatable configuration. The exact conditions that created you will never exist again. So you're not just living your life, you're giving the universe a chance to experience itself in a way it never has before and never will again. That's not small, that's staggering. You were dead before you were born. You'll be dead again after you die. But right now, in this thin sliver of time between two infinite voids, you exist. You are a flame that appeared out of nothing and will return to nothing. But while you burn bright. Don't waste it trying to be immortal. You can't be. Don't waste it chasing permanence. It doesn't exist. Spend it being alive. Fully, completely, presently alive. Because one day, sooner than you think, you'll return to the state you were in before you were born, and it won't hurt. It won't feel like anything, just like it didn't before. But this moment right here, this one does.